Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another modern magazine thing. Because this week I would like to present Dungeons & Dragons Adventure issue number 49. Now last week I mentioned that my wife had been hospitalised. She'd broken her leg in a couple of places and was in hospital. So I'd totally forgotten to go to the shop that week and got the magazine at the last minute. And I'd like to thank everyone for the very kind comments I've received. It touches my heart and me and my wife both very much appreciate it. But her injury actually worked out for me this week, because obviously she's housebound, she's shuffling around on crutches, so she can't go to supermarkets and things. So she sent me out with a shopping list. So I went to the local shop and picked up this issue of the magazine. But she also sent me to another shop, a charity shop, to pick something up. And I went in, and they actually had some role-playing games, and one which I've absolutely been fascinated by for years, so I picked that up. So it's been a bonus week for me. But anyway, let's get around to looking at Dungeons & Dragons Adventure issue number 49. So, this is Dungeons & Dragons Adventure issue number 49. Although everything's shifted so we can't see the number. Right, let's shut the bag out of the way. Inside, well, we've got another load of dice. They're sort of marble blue ones with white writing this time. More dice. Like these ones, and 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 a big dice, and another big dice, and another big dice, and another big dice, and some smaller dice which glow in the dark, and some black with blue writing, and some orange, and some yellow, and some pink or lilac, or some sort of marbled red ones. These are just the issues I've got, and I don't get every issue, but there's so many flipping dice. Anyway, let's chuck all them to the side. Let's get them all out of the way. So many dice. I really wish they'd choose different things, and they kind of have this issue a little bit. Because as well as the dice, we've got a Dungeons & Dragons Adventure shopping catalogue. Give this booklet to your players whenever they get to town and want to buy new supplies. And basically it's just the equipment section out of the player's handbook. So we've got a food, drink and lodging section with all the prices. Adventuring gear. Along with descriptions. What the different advantages, using a crowbar grants advantage to strength checks when the crowbar's leverage can be applied. Mess kit, oil, some different tools and things. And that's it. It's a nice little feelie. Do people even use the term feelie anymore? Feelies that I'm used to were items given away with text adventure games, like the old Infocom ones. So if you're investigating a murder or a suicide which you think might be a murder, you might get a feelie in the form of the suicide note. Different handouts, like the ones you do get in RPGs. But feelies got a bit weird later on in the text adventure thing, because you would get Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which one of the feelies was some pocket fluff. Interesting stuff, but not essential. But this is a nice little thing. You can hand it over to the players to get them distracted while you're planning the next part of the adventure, while they're doing some shopping. I'd have much preferred, instead of it being branded D&D Adventurer, so obviously modern printing, if they'd made it look like a little booklet, aged parchment effect or something like that. This doesn't look like a handout, it looks like a booklet given away with a magazine. Anyway, put that to the side. We've got the magazine itself, new and exclusive adventure, Ranger the Horizon Walker, Shellshock Tortles, Fungus Folk Myconids, and Draconic Power Choose a Dragon Feat. And another very dark image. The artwork's nice quality, but I don't really like these angled dark images which they keep giving us. It's a bit boring by now. Inside, we've got the contents page, showing that Adventure 5 on page 49 is A Haunting in the Underdark. Is that a page number? I don't think so. Whatever. So, we're on to the second safety tools section. Implement your player's hard and soft limits using these systems. Now, I really like the safety tools one, but I kind of felt it was a bit done, but there's some interesting ideas, how to change the script, X card, safety tools help make your games more intense. Some nice ideas in there. As I said, it's not as nice as the first one, but still pretty good. Then we've got a section on sentient magic items. Now, I really like this. I like sentient magic items. The idea of different items. We used to have a sentient sword which spoke all languages. So we used it as our translator. It would talk to everybody. Live by the sword, die by the sword, and talk with the sword. So we've got an explanation of what is a sentient item, creating sentient items, what abilities they've got, alignment, communication, senses, its special purpose, any conflicts there, role-playing opportunities, a nice enough section, an introduction to sentient items, thumbs up there. We've got some combat feats, this time Gift of the Chromatic Dragon, Gift of the Gem Dragon, and Gift of the Metallic Dragon. We've got an introduction to Tortles, which I thought were a Spelljammer race, but they're kind of cool. I always did like them a little bit. Turtle men. And we've got things about appearance, personality and beliefs, the Tortle way of life, but no stats. So you can't use them as an NPC, you can't use them as a player character by applying whatever attribute benefits, what abilities they get. Very disappointing that we're only really getting the briefest touch on them. Another subclass, the Ranger Horizon Walker. Their ability to detect portal, planar warrior, Horizon Walker magic. What happens to them at higher levels? We've got Sorceress Origins, Aberrant Mind. Tentacled psychic powers, beings from the boundless stars. One person's bad dream is another person's source of power. Psionic spells, telepathic speech, what happens to them at higher levels? We've got a mercenary veteran, ideal background for those who sold their combat skills to the highest bidder before taking up the adventuring life. It's quite nice, role-playing a mercenary, benefits of the mercenary life, so a background. Then we've got monsters and myconids. I would have liked this to have been more, but we've got some background information about them. The Mushroom Men of the Underdark. I've always been kind of fond of these. I've used them in a few adventures myself over the years. And we've got Myconid Sovereigns mentioned here. And then we've got Adventure 5 Encounter a Haunting in the Underdark. So the players are travelling across and they get spoken to by a bunch of Myconid travellers because they're getting attacked by spirits. And perhaps the players will be able to help them out. It does mention that the players can refuse to aid them, but assisting the party provides a potent poison that can help the party in a later encounter and create possible allies for the future. Nice Myconid artwork. We've got beginning the encounter, how the Myconids ask for help, confronting the spectres, what happens if you refuse them, and ending the encounter. There's not a lot to it, there's no battle maps or anything. We've got some stat blocks for the Banshee and Spectres, the Myconid adults, their young, the Sprouts, and inhaled poison that the players will get given. And again, we've got a character sheet at the back here, this time for a Tortle Barbarian Path of Wild Magic, who is a mercenary veteran. Which surprises me because I thought they would go with the Ranger type, because that's what they're describing. They're not using the Barbarian Path of Wild Magic in this issue. So you kind of need the other issue to find out more about what that character class is like. They're spreading things across. They're not making each issue valuable in itself. But we've got the background, so Rage, Wild Surge, Magic Awareness, Reckless Attack, Charger, Danger Sense, Hold Breath, Natural Armor, and Shell Defense. Leaves you to work out which one of those is Tortle abilities and which of those is Barbarian abilities. And a nice little illustration of the Tortle Barbarian wearing some tartan and carrying a damn big hammer. So, this issue, some good bits, some bad bits, not as good as the last couple of issues, but still very, very useful. There's a lot to like in this. I like the booklet, but it could have been better. And I am sick to death of the damn dice. So that was Dungeons & Dragons Adventure issue number 49. and it's a pretty good one. It's not as good as the recent ones, but I did like the follow-up article on the safety tools. I did think the races having myconids and tortles were pretty interesting, even though we're totally lacking any abilities and stats. If you included that stuff, it'd be really valuable because people could actually play these classes. But apart from that, the adventure's alright, it's kind of interesting. The other materials are useful. There's some subclasses in it as usual, which I'm not that keen on because they're not going to be that useful to people. It's very rarely that those subclasses will get played because there are just so many of them. But a decent issue. I'm sick of the dice by now. As I showed you, we've got so many. But I did like the little shopping book. It would have been nicer if they'd styled it to look in-universe, so when people go into a shop they get something which looks like it belongs in a fantasy universe. But it's handy, it lets them go in and choose equipment and that kind of stuff. Not a bad add-on. Not as good as the maps we've had, not as good as the notebook we got a couple of weeks ago, but decent. Anyway, I think I've been waffling on for quite long enough, so thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.